In the stillness of the awakened mind, suffering does not arise from what others do, but from what the heart clings to. The cold silence of a narcissist after betrayal, their indifference after causing pain, cuts like a sword through the spirit. One may cry out, how can they be so unmoved as if nothing happened? But Zen does not ask why the fire burns. It teaches us not to place our hand in it again. The Buddha once said, one who does not understand another's mind cannot expect understanding from it. The awakened one sees, not all beings dwell in the same river of empathy. Some hearts are like stones in a stream. Water flows over them, but never within them. Let this teaching unfold through the layers of story, truth, and silence, where pain is not denied, but transformed. The bamboo that did not bend. A traveler once crossed the mountain path after a long night of rain, his cloak torn by branches, his feet muddied by the trail. Along the road he met a companion who promised warmth, guidance, and shelter. For days the two walked together. The traveler, in trust, gave his thoughts, shared his food, offered his silence in his speech, but the companion, cloaked in smiles but cold in soul, began to take without offering, criticize without cause, and wound without apology. One night, as the wind howled across the cliff's edge, the companion turned on the traveler, spoke cruel words, blamed him for the rain, and walked away into the darkness as if the bond, the journey, and the pain meant nothing. The traveler sat by the flickering fire, wounded not just by words but by something deeper, the disbelief that one who shared so much could now pretend none of it occurred. He asked the forest, why do they act like nothing happened? The wind whispered, because nothing within them changed. The illusion of empathy. The root of this question lies not in their action, but in your expectation. In Zen, suffering grows when mind expects fruit from a barren tree. A narcissist's heart is not cultivated in the soil of reflection, remorse, or compassion. It thrives in image, not in truth. When one acts without empathy, they do not remember pain the way others do. To the narcissist, the moment passes like a shadow behind glass. It touches nothing inside. They construct reality like a painter, obsessed with surface color, never bothering with what lies beneath. In Buddhist psychology, this is the absence of karuna, compassion. Without compassion, no real understanding of harm can root itself. The narcissist walks away from the damage like someone leaving a dream. It was real for you, it was a performance to them. They act like nothing happened, because within their inner space nothing did. The detached self and the inflated ego. The ego, when unchecked, feeds on illusions of perfection. Narcissism is a fortress built to protect a fragile identity, one so hollow that even a crack of guilt could collapse the entire structure. Zen teaches the ego is not a thing. It is a thought clung to. Narcissists cling tightly to the idea that they are always right. Admitting fault feels like death to their self-image. So instead they erase the event, rewrite it, or blame the other. Anything to preserve their inflated self. To acknowledge pain caused would be to admit imperfection. And for the narcissist, that is intolerable. Thus they smile, deflect, pretend, not because they forget, but because remembering would fracture the false world they live in. To protect their ego, they gaslight yours, the strategy of silence. Why do they stay silent after hurting you? Why do they walk past your suffering with eyes that see only their reflection? It is not always forgetfulness, but power. The act of ignoring is a weapon disguised as indifference. In Zen, silence can be healing, but in the hands of the egoic mind, silence becomes control. By acting like nothing happened, the narcissist shifts the weight of confusion onto you. You begin to doubt yourself. You wonder, was it that serious? This is the erosion of truth. The Buddha warned, when one loses sight of right perception, suffering multiplies. They walk away and act normal because it serves them. They are not healing, they are avoiding. They are not at peace, they are escaping. Their silence is not wisdom, it is avoidance masked in control. The pain of the empath, why does this hurt so deeply? Because your heart feels the ripples of every stone dropped in the water, because you remember every word, every kindness, and every tear. The heart that feels pain after betrayal is not weak. It is awake. Zen does not ask you to become numb. It invites you to see pain as a teacher. You felt deeply. That is not your flaw. That is your strength. But now, the lesson asks for detachment. To cling to someone who walks away from your pain is to keep feeding fire with your breath. Let the fire die. Let it burn out in the absence of your attention. Compassion is not allowing yourself to be wounded again. True compassion is knowing who cannot hold your heart with care and walking away with peace. The cycle they repeat. Understand this. The narcissist does not heal. They cycle. They move from one bond to another, seeking supply, affirmation, attention, and when that bond demands accountability, they flee or erase the evidence of harm. In this way, they remain unchanged, always acting, never growing. Buddhism teaches of samsara, the cycle of suffering that repeats when one acts without awareness. The narcissist lives in samsara unconsciously. Each time they hurt and flee, they sow seeds of future isolation. They act like nothing happened, but life remembers. Karma does not forget. The universe teaches even the blind through consequence. You need not wait to witness it. Your freedom is not in their downfall, but in your release. Your release begins now. How do you let go? First, accept the truth. They cannot love in the way you imagined. This acceptance is not bitterness, it is liberation. Second, cease expecting an apology. Zen teaches when you stop chasing shadows, light finds you. Waiting for regret from a narcissist is chasing fog. Stop seeking closure from the one who fears it. Third, cultivate stillness. Meditation is not escape. It is remembrance of your wholeness. Sit with the pain, breathe through it, and let it rise and dissolve. Fourth, transmute the suffering into clarity. Learn the lesson. Not everyone who smiles is safe, but every wound, when accepted, becomes wisdom. Finally, release not just the person, but the version of you that needed them. You are not who they said you were. You are what silence reveals when truth returns, the mirror of karma. In time, the narcissist may face emptiness, but that is not your concern. Let karma be karma. In Buddhism, karma is not punishment, it is teaching. What one gives returns, not always in the way expected, but always with precision. You need not wish them harm, simply walk away. In your peace, you reflect their failure. In your silence, you show them what they could not become. Let them pretend nothing happened. You know what did, and you chose awakening. The path beyond pain. The narcissist acts like nothing happened because their inner world is shallow. Your pain reflects your depth, not your weakness. You walk the path with heart. Now you walk it with eyes open. Zen teaches not revenge, but release. Not forgetting, but understanding. You were hurt, yes, but you are not broken. Leave with silence, but not with bitterness. Leave with wisdom, not resentment. Leave with love, but direct it inward. The narcissist's indifference is not your burden anymore. Let the fire they started extinguish itself. You are no longer feeding it. Sit with your breath. Return to your center. In that place, nothing they did matters anymore. You are free, the silent power of knowing. When you understand why narcissists act like nothing happened after hurting you, a subtle shift unfolds within. No longer do you chase explanations. No longer do you grasp for closure from one incapable of offering it. This shift is not loud. It does not shout its wisdom. It rests within like still water in a stone basin. Buddhism teaches, he who sees with clarity does not need to speak. The seeing is enough. That is where your strength begins. Not in confronting the narcissist, not in making them feel what they want, but in knowing the truth without demanding it be acknowledged. They deny, they deflect, they disappear. But your soul has seen everything. Let your awareness become your shield and your wisdom your path. In seeing the truth clearly, you are already beyond the illusion, the wounded mind that hurts others. A narcissist is not born with the desire to hurt. Their self-image is a fragile fortress built on past wounds, buried shame, and spiritual emptiness. But wounds unhealed do not justify wounds inflicted. Zen compassion recognizes the suffering of all beings, even those who harm others, but it does not sit in fire to understand its heat. You can acknowledge their brokenness without allowing it to break you. They act like nothing happened because their soul learned long ago to suppress, to deny, to avoid pain. Not out of strength, but because facing truth would collapse their inner illusion. Pity is not the answer, nor is vengeance. Detachment is the path. Your karma is freedom, not entanglement. When someone hurts you and pretends it never occurred, the ego wants to engage, to explain, to defend. But the awakened heart sees that this is not necessary. In Buddhist understanding, your karma is not bound to theirs unless you continue the chain of reaction. Every time you respond with the same energy, anger, blame, bitterness, the wheel of karma turns again. But if you break the cycle, if you say nothing, walk away and purify your mind, your karma becomes freedom. You are no longer trapped in their reality. Let the lesson end with you. Let your silence be the full stop in the sentence they tried to write in your soul, the echo of unacknowledged pain. Even after the narcissist vanishes, even after they pretend nothing happened, the wound echoes in the mind. You remember the conversation that never took place, the apology never spoken, the love that ended with indifference. These echoes feel like ghosts, but Zen says, if the door is closed, stop knocking. Sit, breathe, be. What you seek is not in the echo, it is in the silence that follows when you stop listening to it, when you no longer argue with the memory, when you accept the past as it was, not as it should have been. Pain transforms, not when others apologize, but when you awaken from needing it, letting go of the illusion of return. You may think perhaps someday they'll come back, say they're sorry, realize what they did. But that is not release. It is waiting with chains on your heart. The true teaching of Zen lies in this. What leaves you without awareness should not return through desire. If someone walks away from your suffering with a smile, let them walk. If they act like your pain did not exist, they have no place in your healing. Release the illusion of return, because that person never truly arrived in the first place. You loved their mask, now you see the face behind it. Let it go. What remains when you let go? After the anger, after the grief, after the disbelief, what remains? You, pure, unbroken, wiser. In letting go, you do not lose. You reclaim. You return to yourself. You remember your dignity, your value, your inner stillness. The narcissist acted like nothing happened, but everything happened within you. A sacred transformation. You saw what they truly are. You felt pain. You chose awareness. And now you begin the journey back to truth. Zen says to return to the root is to find peace. To chase the leaf is to lose the tree. Return to your root. Let the falling leaves be as they are. Do not chase what fades. Healing through right action. Healing is not just detachment. It is conscious action. Act with compassion, but not foolishness. Speak truth, but not to ears that mock it. Hold boundaries, not from anger, but from awareness. Do not seek revenge. Do not explain. Do not collapse into silence rooted in pain. Instead, rise into silence rooted in strength. Your best answer to those who act like nothing happened is to live in such a way that proves you needed nothing from them to heal. Let your healing be so whole that their absence becomes irrelevant, the gift you did not expect. Strangely, this pain was a gift, not from them, but from life itself. Because through this betrayal, through their pretending, you saw the depth of your heart and the strength of your spirit. You met your boundaries, you found your worth. Zen teaches, when the mind is silent, the soul hears truth. In your silence now you hear it. You were never the broken one. You were the mirror that showed them their emptiness, and in breaking that mirror they revealed what they could never face. You did not lose, you awakened. The sky after the storm. A narcissist walks away without remorse, because they live behind illusions, barriers that keep them from facing the mirror of truth. But you, the one left with an aching heart, you saw clearly, you felt deeply, you walked through fire and came out transformed. You are no longer who you were before the betrayal. You are not the storm, you are the sky after it. Don't waste your energy trying to teach someone what they refused to learn. Instead, teach yourself how to walk away, in peace, with dignity, with compassion, but without looking back. They may pretend nothing ever happened, but something did. You happened, your healing happened, your growth happened, and now everything is different. Let it be. Thank you for watching. If this message resonated with you, be sure to subscribe and tap the notification bell so you never miss an update. Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts or what you'd like to see next. Until next time, take care of your heart and keep growing.